Welcome to The Kitchen Chemist. I'm your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. Today, we're making a special treat. Potatoes. Boil them, mash them, stick in a stew, or you could make latkes. What are latkes, you ask? Well, if you've never celebrated Hanukkah, you might not know what a latke is. It's a hash brown. Let's be honest, it's essentially a hash brown. So we're gonna make some latkes. What you're gonna need are some russet potatoes for these bad boys. I would recommend sticking with russets. There are a couple different types of potatoes. There's waxy, basically they break down into waxy and starchy. Waxy are like red potatoes, starchy are russet potatoes or baking potatoes. These ones get fluffy, the other ones get not fluffy. You also need a whole onion, 2 eggs, some flour, and some baking powder. So the first thing we need to do is we need to shred our potatoes, and then we need to drain. We want to get some of that moisture out of that, because if they're drier, they're gonna crisp up better. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grate our potatoes. Now you could use a box grater if you're into hard labor, but you could also use your handy dandy food processor. Now I've outfitted mine with a grating disc, large hole grating disc. So you just want to cut your potatoes to size, maybe halve them. Now you have the option of peeling your potatoes or not peeling them. I'm not gonna peel them because the skin has a little bit of more oomphy flavor and also will help give a little bit of textural variance in the finished product. But by all means, feel free to peel your potatoes, but you don't have to. And you're just gonna wanna put them in the shredder. You're also going to want to go ahead and shred your onion at the same time, so just cut it into chunks that your grater can manage. This is a big onion, so I'm gonna cut it into thirds. Take the skin off. And go ahead and throw that in the food processor as well. I don't recommend using your fingers for this. So you should have a nice, fine mesh of onions and potatoes. This is kind of the right grind, some strings of potatoes. So you want to carefully pour this into a clean dish towel. So now we're going to kind of fold this up, and then you want to twist the ends because we want to squeeze as much moisture out of this as we possibly can. You can already see it's starting to leak on me. Roll this nice and tight so that it doesn't bust open on you. You're gonna want to get a bowl and some sort of strainer colander. We're going to put this in here, and then we want to weight it down with something. This will do the trick. And you want this to drain for about an hour. So it's been an hour, so we're going to pull off our weight, and this liquid is garbage, throw it away. We're now going to put our potatoes and onions into a stainless steel bowl. You might notice that your potatoes have kind of lost some of their color. That's okay. They oxidize, doesn't affect the flavor. And it'll still taste delicious. If you want to avoid that, you can spritz some lemon juice on it. That'll prevent oxidation. So to your potato mixture, you're gonna want to add 2 hefty pinches of salt. Potatoes need a lot of salt. We're gonna put in some fresh ground black pepper. We're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Now, baking soda, which I believe we talked about before in our cookie episode, baking soda is just sodium bicarbonate. When you mix it with an acid, it's gonna rise, right? Baking powder, on the other hand, has both a base, like sodium bicarbonate, and an acid, like citric acid, so when it gets wet, you get that same thing without having to add an extra acidic ingredient. So you're gonna wanna add about 3 tablespoons of flour to act as a binding agent, just keep everything together. And you're going to add 2 whole eggs. Now you want to mix this thoroughly. I like to use my hands. I feel like I have more control. Just get in there, mix everything up. And now you have the base of your latke. You should be able to kind of form it into a patty that doesn't disintegrate. So that's about what we're looking for, right? It doesn't take a lot of flour. So now we are ready to fry. So you want to set your pan to about medium-high heat and go ahead and add in some oil. This is a neutral oil. This is avocado oil. And you want an oil that has a higher smoke point. So soybean oil is good, canola oil is good, peanut oil is good. Extra virgin olive oil, probably not so good for frying things. So you just want enough oil to coat the bottom with about 1/4 inch. So now that our oil's come to temp, what you can see, they're kind of like squigglies in the oil. You just want to take your potato mixture, kind of mold it into a small patty, and you want to carefully lay it into the hot oil. So you just want to cook these about 5-6 minutes aside, or until golden brown, crispy, and delicious. So when the latkes are looking nice and crisp on both sides, you're just going to want to pull them, either put them on a plate with paper towels to drain, or you can use a wire rack. You want to immediately hit these bad boys with a pinch of salt. Anytime you fry something, you need to salt it as soon as it comes out. So here are our latkes. They're gorgeous. Now these are traditionally served with applesauce, which I'm not a fan of, but feel free to add your own. You can use sour cream, creme fraiche, plain yogurt, anything that has that sort of thick tanginess. I'm gonna use a dollop of ricotta cheese. So let's dig in. Oh, you hear that crunch? Ah. Crispy, crunchy on the outside. Soft and fluffy on the inside. Nice onion flavor throughout the whole thing. And then the addition of the ricotta or the sour cream is just a nice contrast to the hot, oily fried food. You have something cool and creamy, and it's just a perfect contrast. It's a wonderful bite. If you have caviar, you put that on the top. If you're wealthy, if you were a rich man, The dangerous thing about latkes is you want to eat all of them. But until next time, I'm your boy, amateur pro home chef, Nathanael Levinson. L'chaim!